On the Houston Rockets, of course. And we're just in that moment right now. Can the Lakers close this series out against the Rockets? Who do we expect to step up besides LeBron James, besides Austin Reaves? Who's going to be that person? We saw Deondre Ayton have a strong performance. Are we going to get more rhythm for Luka Canard to get more shots up? Is Marcus Smart going to be able to knock down some shots offensively? Can this Lakers team as a whole find a way to have a more fluid offense with Austin Reaves back into the mix defensively? How can they clog up the paint, clog up the driving lanes? How can they limit their turnovers? There's so many adjustments that the Lakers can make heading into game number 6 tonight. But before we do any of that, give you guys a full breakdown of game number 6. What do we expect? I got to talk about my friends at Pechanga Resort Casino, and you can play your perfect combination all the time. At Pechanga Resort Casino, the official Native American resort and casino of the Los Angeles Lakers. Skip the traffic. Head on over to Pechanga Resort Casino just off the I-15 in Temecula. Visit pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for reservations and for more information. So, game number 6 tonight. It's a big one. It's a crucial one. So, to help me break down more of game number 6 with the Lakers versus Rockets, you guys are always familiar with this guy right here. He is your host of Locked On Lakers. You can catch him here. He fills in a lot for us at our station at ESPN Los Angeles, and he is also the host of Lakers Talk on our ESPN LA, on ESPN LA Los Angeles. So, Andy Kamenetzky, how are you doing today?
Excited, nervous, curious, all of the above. Man, this series, it's funny actually. This series has taken a ton of turns and has had a lot of unpredictability. Yet in a lot of ways, It has progressed exactly how people had expected heading into the series, where basically everyone had the Rockets winning it. It's just sort of gone that way in reverse. It's like taking a beat to get to where people expected, which was Houston being the team seemingly in control of the series.
AK, we gotta, I wanted to throw this at you. You're familiar with who's officiating the game tonight, right?
Is it one Scott Foster?
The extender, baby. Scott Foster will be the crew chief tonight for Lakers versus Rockets game 6. Just want to throw this quick stat at you, and I hope this is accurate. But there's a stat line for Scott Foster when he officiates the Houston Rockets. Apparently, the Rockets are 1-9 when Scott Foster officiates their
here's the wrinkle.
This has been since 2016.
Okay, here's the wrinkle. And I don't know the math off the top of my head. I do not know these numbers. I'm just saying I think it matters. How many of those 10 games involved Chris Paul on the Rockets? Because Scott Foster will never give Chris Paul a win. Like, I didn't think, there was some chatter when the Lakers waived Kobe Buffkin, who would they bring in before? It was eventually just converting Nick Smith Jr. And there had been some talk about, bringing back Chris Paul. Finally the LeBron goes full circle with the Banana Boat Gang. He will play with everybody in the NBA, all of it, Melo and Wade and then Chris Paul. I didn't think it was a good idea then, but I really am glad it didn't happen now. Because if Chris Paul was on this team now with Scott Foster, just make your plans for game 7.
Hey, look, it's funny because people have been saying all over Twitter is like, the Rockets Twitter, they're like, someone told Scott Foster that Chris Paul is a part of Lakers organization.
I mean,
in this playoff run.
I'm not wrong about this. This is eventually going to be a 30 for 30. Foster v. Paul.
And by the way, that record I gave you, 1-9, it was since 2016. So Chris Paul was definitely involved in that record. So
again, I'm not reaching on all this. I just saying. The man clearly does not like officiating Chris Paul.
No, he does not. So, AK, I didn't get your thoughts on how you felt on game number 5 and how it went down, the slow start the Lakers, had in that second quarter, and it bled into the start of the third quarter. I felt like they lacked to match the physicality. They didn't match the Houston Rockets energy. Houston Rockets have been playing with that desperation, understanding that any game can matter for them, meaning that they can be a closeout game for them. And the Houston Rockets have made those adjustments necessary to, have success against the Lakers. Just your thoughts on how you felt about game number 5.
Obviously, it's disappointing that they lost because you want to see the series closed out. But like you, what I really got wrong, because I predicted the Lakers winning game 5, so by definition, I was wrong there. Mm-hmm. I thought, if nothing else, this was a game that they were going to approach like we are emptying the clip. Like LeBron is going to have an extra day of rest. Marcus Smart, Luke Canard, some of the older guys on the team that look like they're feeling some fatigue, they're going to get an extra day of rest. Game 4, I was willing to write off a lot of as they are exhausted after the game 3 overtime, quick turnaround, several guys in the team playing 40-plus minutes. Like, obviously, the Lakers came out better in that because they won the game, but the circumstances moving into game 4 favors the younger Rockets, not to mention, like, they are literally saving their season. So, okay, fine. Game 5, though, I expected the Lakers to come out really aggressively with a sense of high energy purpose, and I just didn't see that. Like, it felt to me like, I don't want to say they were sleepwalking through the game because I don't think that's fair either, but I did not feel a sense of urgency and a sense of focus. And what I thought would be the case, just given the circumstances, we get to end this thing now before we get into a situation where, forget about the idea that Houston could come back and make history at their expense. We're playing every other day. Like, that doesn't favor them. That part of it was just really, really surprising in a bad way for me.
And they had those 2 days, of rest, before heading into game number 5. And I'm totally with you. Like, the sense of urgency, the sense of, hey, look, this is a real opportunity back at home. This is the chance to get the crowd electric. And it just seemed like, besides that start in the first quarter, Marcus Smart knocking down those 2 big, those 2 early on threes, LeBron James able to get to his spots. And then even Rui, I felt like Rui is having a very efficient series as far as shooting wise. Defensively, he has been solid. But and then what's really frustrated me, and you're gonna be like,
I know where you're going.
You already know where I'm going. Is I genuinely felt like they wasted a really, really strong performance from DeAndre Ayton.
Forget the idea that DeAndre Ayton almost had a 2020 game. He almost had a 2010 game with just his offensive rebounds. He had, I believe, 19 points or 18 points, 17 rebounds. 10 were on the offensive glass. He damn near had a 2010 game on just offensive rebound. He was incredible. And you know what's funny, actually? I tweeted this out at Cam Brothers during game 5, and you will understand exactly what I mean when I say this will sound like a loaded compliment, and I don't mean it to be. Like, DeAndre Ayton deserves a ton of praise with what I'm about to say, but just given his reputation and perception, I know how people will treat it.
Yeah.
From games 1 through 5, you can make a serious argument that the guy who's brought the most consistent energy over those 5 games is Ayton. Like, he's been really good in this series, not just from a performance standpoint, but just pure urgency and, playing with that type of intensity. He's been really good.
And take rebounds and take him rolling hard to the basket and getting nice little runners, around the rim. Let's just talk about the defense that he's been playing on Alperen Şengün. Like, Şengün has been struggling to get, to his baby hook shot. Sometimes he likes to do that one-legged, short range jump shot as well. But DeAndre Ayton has done a really good job just keeping guys in front. He took pride on that as far as him switching on to the smaller guards. And he has been really, really good, as far as sliding his feet, moving to his spots. And it just really, really was frustrating to see that, with that performance with the Lakers. And I will get your thoughts on Austin Reaves in a little bit and how you felt about his performance. But I just want to throw this stat at you too, AK. And this is just the Lakers offense. And this is how their shooting has gone, because they were phenomenal from 3-point in the first 3 playoff games. So Canard was 9 of 17 in the first 3 playoff games, 52%. Rui Hachimura was 9 of 17. He was 52% as well. Marcus Smart, 8 of 16, 50%. LeBron, 7 of 16. He was shooting at a 43% rate. Overall, as Lakers team, 46%. And the narrative has changed because the Rockets, they're starting to shoot a little bit better. The Houston Rockets, these past 2 games, have shot around as a team 37%. The Lakers, as a team, AK, are shooting 24%.
I know.
24%. And I understand that they were able to get those to be really efficient from 3-point ball from their first 3 games, but they didn't let it, sometimes you look when they were a scoring drought in those games, their defense still was able to hold, meaning they were able to still double team, rotate, get in the gaps, clog up the paint, force shot clock violations, live ball turnovers, lead that in transition. We have not been seeing that in these past 2 games.
Well, it's funny, actually. It's not just that the 3-point percentage has gone down. 3-point volume has gone down. Like they're losing the math game right now with Houston. Like, remember earlier on in the series, I remember talking about this with you during one of the Lakers talk shows. Like, I think the low scores the Lakers had in games 1 and 2, I think it made the offense look worse than it actually had been. The Lakers were losing the possession game, but they were scoring efficiently. And Houston was just getting by on having so many extra possessions through offensive rebounds and the Lakers turning the ball over. And just they've been continually struggling with not giving the ball away. And Houston, I think, has actually made a very smart adjustment where they're not worrying as much anymore about crashing the glass. And they're just getting back because I think they've come to realize the Lakers offense is really what's most susceptible. Let's start really picking apart what isn't working for the Lakers rather than trying to double down on a strength of theirs, offensive rebounding, that isn't necessarily helping the offense anyway. Like, we're just winning the possession game, but we're not actually stopping the Lakers from scoring. And I think they've done a good job actually just mucking up the Lakers offense over games 3, 4, and 5. I rewatched, because I might be glutton for punishment, but I rewatched most of game 5, specifically watching Canard, because in his possessions, I'm like, why was he so invisible in game 5? And like, it's been trending in the wrong direction, but game 5 was, 1 point in 30-ish minutes, only 4 shots. And you know what he does for 95% of what I watched? He goes to the corner and stands there. And that's it. Like, nobody's looking at him. Like, LeBron, Austin, Marcus, they're not looking in his direction at all. He's barely moving. Like, remember games 1 and 2, they were running like a lot of off-ball sets, like a lot of off-ball screens, a lot of movement. And credit Houston's defense for making adjustments to that. Like, they have. Like, I think the first 3 games of the series, I don't think Ime Udoka was doing a particularly good job at all. Games 4 and 5, I think he's actually made some nice adjustments. I think he's actually done a good job since then. It feels like what the Lakers are trying to do right now with Canard specifically is plant him in the corners, far from the action, so you can keep Amen Thompson away from everything. Like, I know he's done a good job trailing and, messing up some of what they, I think, had been doing earlier with Canard. Once Thompson said himself in game 1, he didn't take the assignment seriously enough. And I think he's cranked that up. And I understand where the Lakers want to try to remove Thompson from some of the action and just keep him away. And there's a logic to it. I think they're going too far with it. If I'm correct about this. Like, he had 27 touches in 30 minutes in game 5. His usage percentage was like 8.2. I'm kind of shocked he got 4 shots. Like they
Yeah.
didn't run anything resembling action until I want to say like the third quarter. There was a sequence where Luke back cut Amen and he
Mhm.
got fed. And unfortunately, Tari Eason wasn't far enough away from the action. He kind of sniffed it out and he blocked Canard at the rim. But fine, like the play itself worked. The timing was just a little bit off. Then towards the end of the third quarter, they ran the type of DHO thing that I've been begging to see more of. And it required a couple screens. Like it required Jake to screen Amen or whoever was defending him. And then it required Jackson to do it again. But Canard eventually curled into the lane. He put up a runner that rimmed in and out. Like it didn't fall. But the action was good.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going like, okay, I get if you don't want to involve Thompson. Again, if I'm right, you're trying to keep him out of it. But they're essentially keeping Canard out of the offense too. And he's a guy that provides what they need with 3-point shooting. Like they need to, I think, balance it a bit more. They need to try, I think, to be more creative with. And Canard is sort of like a symptom of the general offense, which it's just become a lot of standing around, like a lot of high screen or just floor spread standing around. Nobody's moving anymore.
You know what? That's a very, very interesting point, and we definitely can elaborate more on this because a lot of people have been saying because Austin Reaves has gotten back into the mix, it's taken away opportunities and looks for a guy like Luke Canard and potentially Marcus Smart. But before we, elaborate more onto this, I have to let my partners at Pachanga give you guys a quick word.
At Pachanga Resort Casino, you can rock and roll, sip and slide, twist and shout. Play your perfect combination at Pachanga Resort Casino, official Indian gaming sponsor of the Lakers.
What is going on? Welcome back to Lakers Talk Daily. Got my guy here, host of Lockdown Lakers, Andy Kamenetzky, to preview game number 6 against the Houston Rockets. And AK, before we dive in more to what you were elaborating on as far as Luke Canard and his usage rate and how the Lakers can get him more involved and your thoughts on Austin Reaves, just want to read a couple stuff in the YouTube chat. And this is in regards to what I've been seeing all over social media on how the Lakers have been guarding Alperen Sengun with Kevin Durant out of the lineup. A lot of people were saying, just let Deondre Ayton guard him one-on-one. Why do the Lakers insist on double teaming him? Like, just for instance, Bo Zero says they need to let DA guard him one-on-one. And Jay in the YouTube chat says, stop doubling Sengun. I understand why the Lakers double Alperen Sengun. We've seen it in game 1 when Kevin Durant was out of the lineup. As soon as Sengun caught it in the low block mid-post range, the Lakers' job, you would see it. And as soon as he tried to face up, it was somebody right there on the catch. And it made it difficult because that means he has to throw a cross-court pass because the Rockets have done a better job. There was that one play I remember in the third quarter of game number 5, literally to start the third quarter. Sengun caught it, and the Lakers kind of send out a weak double team. It was kind of like, it was one of those 50-50, like, should I go? Should I not go? Should I stay? Should I not? So they got caught up. And then Amen Thompson actually flashes to the high post, and Tari Eason comes from the weak side. Miscommunication. And that's where the frustration starts to come from is, why are the Lakers double teaming him so much? And should they just allow DeAndre Ayton just to guard him one-on-one and just kind of be in the guess? What is your thoughts on that?
I agree with the comments. I think, you throw doubles every now and then just to keep him out of rhythm so it doesn't become predictable for him. But Ayton has done a really good job on Sengun. Like, he has made Sengun work, make or miss. And there has been, I haven't looked at the latest numbers with Ayton as the primary defender or as part of the action, but last time I checked, he was more than holding his own. I would, until it's become obvious Ayton can't do it, I would let him do it because I think he's actually doing a really good job. And also, too, given the fact that Houston really can't score anyway, like, dirty little secret, their offense may have been better than the Lakers the last few games, but it ain't been great either. If Sengun wants to go off for 40 and everyone else is limited, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, really, fine. Because you're at that point, you're taking the ball out of Shepherd's hands a lot, and he's the only other guy that can really create for anybody else. He's the only guy on the team that can really penetrate with the ball. I would let Ayton handle more until it's clear that he hasn't. Like, it depends who's in. Like, Jackson Hayes, once you get to about the free throw line with Şengün, you have to throw a double. Like, Jackson can't do it. And Şengün has increasingly, like the first couple of games, I thought Hayes was doing a very good job defending Şengün. As the series has gone along, Şengün has clearly figured out how to handle Hayes as the primary defender. With Ayton, let it become clear that he can't do it before you start doing it.
And it's interesting because it worked. It worked for game number one, but like you said, Ime Udoka, the Rockets, they have done a better job as far as making those adjustments. Now it's up to JJ Redick to understand that there's no need to help as much as what they're doing as soon as Alperen Şengün catches it at that high post range. Yeah. Like, a one-on-one situation, take your chances on that. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they always go back to what happened last postseason. And it's like, look, man, you actually got a big man who has been playing really, really well. He's been holding his own. They got to come to understanding that this is not small ball lineup. You actually have a guy in Deondre Ayton who has been proven this series, who I have been real critical on, but he has been proven this series that he's consistent right now.
He said, we've been through this with Ayton a lot during the season where he says all the right things, does all the right things for a little while, and then the right things start to trickle away. And then he has some come to Jesus moment that he talks about publicly, says rededicated to doing all the right things, yada, yada, yada. He said all the right things heading into these playoffs, talked about how he was geeked to be a part of it. He's doing backflips.
Yep.
He has 5 games into this series, absolutely walk the walk. Mm-hmm. I would not just reward him for it, reward the team for it. Like, trust him to do this because, frankly, the doubling of Şengün isn't working that well anyway.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I totally agree. So, another big moment that happened is we saw Austin Reaves return to this game. And, by the way, look at this play right here, AK. I mean,
yeah.
Alperen Şengün and him just flailing his body and everything, like, it really, really is frustrating watching him play. I'm sorry, man, because I don't understand what he was trying to accomplish right there. And just look at the spacing right there for the Rockets. Like you said, the Rockets' offense hasn't been that much better than the Lakers. They just had opportunities to make a little bit more jump shots in those clutch moments.
The Lakers' defense is not forced with, shutting down. The Splash Brothers are like the 7 seconds or less Suns. Like, they're not that much better. Honestly, I want this series to end tonight, not just because I always want the Lakers to win. I am so effing sick of watching this series. It's such ugly basketball. Like, it's really, really unpleasant. Like, thank God Cavs Raptors exists in these same playoffs because at least there's something worse.
But scoring has been high for them too.
This is like ABA basketball compared to Cavs Raptors. But man, this has not been a fun series.
I agree, man. But just to get your thoughts on Austin Reaves and his return in this Lakers lineup, and you mentioned Luke Canard and his usage rate and how he got caught standing a lot throughout that game against the Rockets in game number 5. Austin Reaves got checked in. Standing ovation for him. It was loud the moment Austin Reaves came in off the bench. First shot, Austin Reaves gets a pull-up three-pointer coming off of a screen and roll, and it was from deep. He knocks it down, and I'm not going to lie to you, sitting right there, being in attendance, I'm all like, oh, here we go. And a couple of possessions later, he knocked out another deep-range shot, and then he was also able to come off the screen. He's able to turn the corner and get past Josh Okogie for that left-hand scoop later. So you're like, okay, Austin Reaves trying to get into a little bit of rhythm. And then JJ Redick makes that adjustment in the second half because Lakers go down 4 at halftime. And you see Luke Canard go to the bench. Austin Reaves starts. I guess, listening to some comments from JJ Redick, there were some talks that this was always in the plan. It was to get Austin Reaves to kind of get warmed up in the first half. Don't know how much truth that is to that. But you saw Austin Reaves get into the starting lineup. But he ended up shooting 4-16, got 12 or 13 from the free throw line. But still, the stagnant of the offense, the same screen and roll, reset, go back to a pick and roll. And then there's that one sequence that really, really rubbed me the wrong way, AK. I promise you. You want to talk about ugly basketball? There was a point where Lakers were down 83-73. They had a 3-on-1 fast break. And I know it's today's NBA. And I know Austin Reaves is a really good shooter. But you have a 3-on-1 fast break. You're trying to stop the bleeding. You have a scoring drought. And he decides to take a dribble pull-up three. Jabari Smith Jr. is trailing him. Almost blocks the shot down there. That's when Deondre Ayton got 2 offensive rebounds in that possession. They kick out. LeBron James, AR run to the same spot. Austin Reaves and LeBron takes ISO ball, ends up fumbling. Austin Reaves chucks up the shot late into the shot clock. And then just that whole sequence, he tries to do a behind-the-back pass. Ayton fumbles it. That was a really, really ugly sequence. They were fortunate enough for LeBron James to get fouled. But I just felt like there was just no real rhythm, and they were trying to figure out at that moment, we just need someone because they're so used to Luka and Austin Reaves kind of billing him out in certain situations. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I don't know if JJ was being transparent about Austin coming off the bench in the first half, starting in the second half, because he might have been possibly giving cover for Luke Canard and just not wanting to make it seem like we are essentially benching Canard. I will say that if that really was the plan, I don't get it. Just in the sense that clearly Austin wasn't on a strict minutes limit because he played 34 minutes coming back. At that point, I don't really see what the point of changing the rotation twice in a game when you're reintroducing a guy by design. Like, it just, I would love to have an opportunity to talk with JJ about just sort of the why. It feels too clever by half to me. Like, I feel like if he's not on a minutes limit and you're planning on starting him in the second half, just start him in the first half. Like, just play the way. And just for the record, I would be stunned if Austin doesn't start tonight. Like, he's going to start for Canard. There is no point to playing him 34 minutes and starting him in the second half if he's not going to start this game. Then at that point, it's like, seriously, you're overthinking everything.
Yeah.
As far as Austin's effect on the offense, I've heard a lot of that too, like the idea that bringing him back in was a disruption. I got to be honest. Disrupting what? The offense has been terrible. Like what are they possibly disrupting? Like, you know, the idea of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This has needed fixing. So Austin came in, a lot of what you would hope from him, the idea that the Lakers could get some points at the line, check. The idea that the Lakers could start getting some penetration, collapse Houston's defense, check. The idea that he would represent, if nothing else, another scoring threat, check. First shift was great. I think his legs may have caught up to him in the second half. Just, you know, it's the first time he's played in basically a month, and he is seemingly ahead of schedule. I'm not saying that to carry bail for Austin. Like, you know, they needed him to make those shots. There were too many smoked layups and, you know, too many jumpers that didn't fall. That said, if Austin can continue to penetrate Houston's defense the way he did, I don't know if he's going to get as many calls in Houston, but he clearly was able to, and this is always a concern with Austin versus, you know, bigger, stronger athletic defenders. And, you know, I get where the concerns come from. I've had those concerns. In one game coming back, that piece of it was not a problem. Like, I think Austin missing those layups had less to do with anything Houston was doing and more just either timing off, legs failing, like whatever, you know, the shots short or whatever. That wasn't, to me, an element of Houston. I would expect, assuming what we saw in game one was real, that it'll be better tonight. I will also say it has to be better tonight. Like, one of the concerns I have moving forward for game 6 and hopefully not a game 7, it is totally understandable between LeBron's age and the mileage and the increased workload he had at the end of the regular season and the first 4 games of the playoffs, or Austin coming off injury. If neither one of them can give one of those, your best player elevates what is out there, puts the team on their back, the type of thing that you often expect in the playoffs from your best players. The context makes it totally reasonable if either one of them can't do it. We've just moved past a place where reasonable cuts it. Like I'm not concerned about what's reasonable now. I'm concerned about what they need. And unless they can figure out the offense to where they can get it humming more, involve Canard more, I think Rui needs more shots. They need 3-point volume to increase. They need some form of bench scoring. Hopefully that becomes Canard. I've wondered if maybe it's worth giving Nick Smith a shift just to see if he can put up some quick points in like 7-8 minutes. If he can score like 6 points, that would be like 3/4 of what Houston gets from their bench. So they need to juice this stuff. And if they can't juice it, then you're going to need LeBron or Austin to rise past what is an acceptable or even good performance. You need great from one or the other. There are reasonable obstacles for that. Again, reasonable doesn't matter anymore.
I hear you. Everything you're saying is completely accurate. And I feel like besides LeBron and Austin Reaves, you kind of know what to expect from them. It's now to your point. Can Luka Doncic get into a rhythm? Can we get more shots for him? Can we actually have a set design for him coming off of actions on the weak side? And whether that's him, if he's even remotely catching the rock or he's even getting into rhythm to try to find a shot opportunity, the fact that he is moving, it creates what? It creates the Houston Rockets attention on him. You could probably get a switch, whatever the case is. You just can't have ball watching. Basketball, when you have guys stand, and you're watching the same pick and roll at the top of the key. And by the way, the Houston Rockets, Ime Udoka and Royal Ivy literally just sitting at them yelling, get up, get up. Get
Royal
up.
Ivy? I haven't heard that name in a long
Royal
time.
Ivy, that's right, man. He's on that Houston Rockets.
I did not know that, actually. I didn't know that.
And you can see them constantly just get up, like as soon as they cross the half-court line. Lakers have to match the energy. They have to match the physicality. Lakers got to play desperate, man. They got to treat this like, man, we're closing this thing out tonight.
If they don't see themselves as desperate right now, that may be the biggest problem of everything going on. Like I have felt like they should have treated themselves as desperate this whole time because even if they're up 3-0, they're shorthanded.
Yes.
They're a shorthanded team. They don't have their best player. Houston doesn't have their best. I don't care.
No.
The Lakers should treat themselves as desperate. If they're not, they're doing this wrong.
AK, game number 6 is here, man. Game number 6 is here. Let's see if the Lakers can close it out against the Houston Rockets. AK, as always, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode, man.
Anytime, brother. You know that.
And for you guys in the YouTube chat, just like Brian said, tonight should be our Game 7. Treat it like it's Game 7 tonight. Close out the Houston Rockets. For you guys in the YouTube chat, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. The crew in the back, Brooke, Lucas, everyone back there, thank you guys so much for operating this whole thing. I'll be talking to you guys next week on Monday. It could be either we're happy, we're talking about Lakers closing out this series, or we can be on the other end of it. But hopefully that's not the case because we really want to see the Lakers advance into the next round. But as always, your boy will be seeing you guys next week. Be sure to catch me on the Instagram Live as well. Immediately after game number 6, rapid reaction on the Instagram Live on ESPN Los Angeles. Stay tuned for that. Also, you got the Lakers post-game show with Better Durant. Make sure you tune in for that. But I'll be talking to you guys next week on Monday. Your boy is out.